At 90 horsepower, the Case Construction Equipment TV450B is the company's largest compact track loader. The vertical lift unit was introduced at World of Concrete 2020 and features major in-cab updates from the previous Alpha series. They include an 8-inch multifunction LCD screen, a rearview camera, and speed and response-selectable electro-hydraulic, or controls. Construction Equipment secured a unit from Case for the independent operators from the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 150 to put through its paces. Operator instructor Brian Russell and third-year apprentice Bakari Wilkes simulated coring out a sidewalk, constructing a building pad, and loading a tandem dump truck with both CA6 gravel and a healthy pile of January snow. All through the tests, the operators focused on the performance and feel of the three main control settings: low, medium, and high.
So the first three buttons actually allows you to pick your control setting. So with the far left-hand button being the least sensitive, or the most sensitive I should say. So say you're operating and you're doing some fine grading and maybe you're working up against a curb or something, you may want to put it in that setting because it's going to slow things down on the loader and the drive. Medium settings, the place where you're going to be most of the time, that's the second button in. That kind of gives you kind of the best of both worlds. A little bit, not real extreme aggressiveness and not real slow either. And then the third button is your high button. And with that third button, it makes it a little bit more, faster on the controls, allows you to really move dirt if that's what you're doing at that time.
The operators experimented with the machine's controls on the 8-inch color LCD screen. They also had the ability to customize speed and response in various categories. The settings can be saved and recalled for each operator. Wilkes and Russell were largely impressed.
Initially, when cutting dirt out and attempted to build a pad with it, I was happy with the first mold, and I tried the second mold. I wasn't happy with it because I wasn't happy with the responsiveness of the boom or the bucket. And the third mold was pretty good. It performed. The same pretty much. When it came to the gravel, actually, the second mold worked pretty good for me because that lag in raising the bucket sort of gave me a little more time to line up with the dump truck. So I think if I was loading the dump truck, that second mold would probably be more effective than if I was digging in dirt with it.
Both operators liked the TV450B's rearview camera, especially during truck loading cycles and around obstacles. Case has implemented a split-screen feature in which the operator can leave the camera view on full-time, with gauges and other parameters still displayed below the feed. Otherwise, the camera can be set to go on only when the machine is in reverse. The LCD display's brightness can also be adjusted for various lighting conditions. Much like the machine's control settings, individual operator preferences on the camera will rule the day.
Very useful when you're doing like building pads inside the building, grading around, pipes and plumbing and stuff like that. Myself, I'm old school. I don't really ever use the camera. Otherwise, I found myself using it more today, just because I remembered it was there.
Yeah, do you think you could get used to that?
I could get used to that, yeah. And just operator fatigue. It's going to be a lot easier on the operator just looking up like that instead of trying to look over your shoulder all day long. Mm-hmm. I find myself, if I was going to use it more though, I would have it on the constant screen, I guess is what you want to call it, constant camera.
Yeah, where it's a split, your diagnostics or whatever is underneath and the camera's up high.
Yeah, just for the fact of that little bit of motion forward, it kicks the camera off.
In all, the local 150 operators gave the machine's responsiveness, power, visibility, and ergonomics high marks.
I think it's really important because if the operator isn't comfortable in the machine, his productivity is going to be at a minimum. And if you're going to spend 8 to 10 hours or longer in the machine on a daily basis, you need to be comfortable to be productive in it.
Pros, comfort, visibility. The screen is very helpful. The different settings for grading and for, I should say, the slow fast, or slow medium fast. The medium myself, probably wouldn't use. I don't know if I'd really have a use for that, but slow, definitely for going around the, doing the fine grading. But there's always plenty of power then on the high side also. The cons, the only thing a couple things I could see was the placement of the hydraulic sight gauge and the step back behind the bucket. If that could be a graded step, so if you're really hogging dirt or stone or whatever, and it happens to fall off or come back over top of the bucket, it's not just sitting there, so that when you're going and dumping your bucket, it tends to want to fall down the back and then bounce off the windshield. So if it could be graded where it fell off of there.
I won't tell them it's gonna spoil them. That's what I would tell them, it's gonna spoil them. Because the screen is a great benefit, the camera is a benefit, the extra room in it is a benefit. And then just like opening up the back where everything is available right there in front of you, you don't have to really go around the machine looking for much. That's I would tell them it's gonna spoil them in comparison to the other skid steers that are around.